Best of r/Tales from Retail episode 102. Subscribe for Reddit videos daily. Before we start, I work at a hardware store that offers its own credit options. I am a cashier. So one day I'm at a register cashiering my cashier business. About 2 minutes before my break, I decide to take one last customer before closing down my register. It's a guy with a big sliding door. I scan his item, and he tries to pay with one of our credit cards. Emphasis on tries. The register prompts me to call support in order to get the card approved, and I know that they will put me on hold for a while, and I do not want to deal with that a literal minute before my break. So I try to convince him to use a different card instead, but he insists that this purchase has to be on that card specifically, and so starts the wait. At 5 minutes in I connect to an operator, and am promptly put on hold again. At 15 minutes he calls the center too. At 30 minutes he's asking if he can go to the bank across the street, see if anything is wrong there. I say go for it, and allow him to leave the store. I promptly hang up, cancel the transaction, close my register and go on break. On the way to my break, I basically beg my supervisor to send me to the other end of the store in case the guy comes back. PL. Dr. Guy makes me spend 30 minutes past my break on hold for a support center. He leaves for the bank, and I ask my supervisor to send me to the other end of the store so I don't have to deal with him if he comes back. Thank you. Next. This incident just happened today, earlier this afternoon right before I came in for my shift. There was a guy who had come in and was shopping with his wife and he had a defibrillator, and then all of a sudden he's lying on the floor in one of the frozen aisles. He said that he had touched the door handle of one of the freezer units and had gotten an electric shock which messed up his defibrillator somehow. He ended up leaving in an ambulance even. There were, however, a few things wrong with this. 1. Where did this supposed shock even come from? If it was static electricity, he would have barely even noticed it. 2. The door handles are plastic, and he was wearing plastic gloves. Plastic does not conduct electricity. How did he get shocked? 3. Defibrillators are supposed to be designed so that this does not happen, so even if he did get shocked, nothing would have happened. 4. His kids showed up almost right after it happened and started making a fuss. They even beat the paramedics there. Makes me wonder if they weren't just waiting in the parking lot all along. 5. The reason I put kids in quote marks up there is because they probably weren't even his kids. The guy said he was 39 but all the kids looked to be in their 20s. So yeah, that was about all that happened. This was all second-hand information I received from my co-workers as I wasn't there when this happened, but I thought this story was too weird not to share. Thank you. Next. I work in a local store that is both classed as essential and is the only one open in the area past 10 p.m. On Sunday after 10 p.m. my supervisor and our guard were quite bored as nobody was out until the last 3 minutes of the day. A woman came in and very quickly went to the back of the store, alerting all three of us. Lo and behold she kneels down in front of both a Easter display and a camera, and in plain view of it loads up her bag full of small chocolate egg packs. All three of us work together to keep an eye on her, casually reminding her we close soon. Bang on 11 p.m. she tried to walk out, instead she walks right into the guard. We open up her bag despite her resistance and what do we find? Close to £54 worth of goods from our shop and a single bottle of Vimto she claims to have bought elsewhere. Moral of the story? Don't shoplift when you are the only person in and it's almost home time. Thank you. Next. On mobile. Formatting may be screwy. I work in an essential store that has a department for everything imaginable, and a pharmacy. It's been a bit chaotic lately, 'cause, well, you know, but today calmed down a bit. And I just had a few customers wander through the store. Usually I have at least a handful of stupid questions sent my way, but this one really made it hard for me to keep a straight face. Today a man approached the lobby area and asked if we carried flushable wipes since we are out of TP. We do but we are out of those also at the moment 'cause, you know. Then he returns minutes later looking smug, holding a tub of Clorox kitchen disinfecting wipes. He held them up to show me I was wrong, and I tried so hard to keep my customer service face on, which does not include calling him an idiot, while laughing. All I could manage to say was, sir, you do not want to use those wipes on anything. I'm organic. He asked why. I explained what they are for, read the front of the package to him, etc. Explained over and over they are for cleaning surfaces in your home. Non-porous surfaces at that. He kept his smug face, walked over to my co-worker, and purchased them anyway. He should have listened. He's going to have very raw and bleach burned bits tonight. And yet he looked at me like I was the idiot. Thank you. Next. Hello. Back with another tale from the hardware store. This story happened a few years ago. For some background info, on the weekends we make popcorn and hand it out to customers for free. Everyone is very appreciative of this, and take you up on the offer most of the time. However, there's always the occasional strange response. This story begins with me by the popcorn machine when a lady with 2 kids came up and I offered them popcorn. We'll call her L. Lady. Me. Hi, do any of you want some popcorn? L. No thanks, it's bad for their hearing. Me. Okay. At the time this happened I had been working in retail for around 2 years and was completely numb to customers and their weird statements. I didn't even question her reasoning until later that day when I went home. Edit. Formatting. Thank you. Next. Just had this with a customer and thankfully my supervisor was with me. The customer had asked for 20 cigarettes and had already given me a small can of drink. The cigarettes are £8.95 and the can of drink was 49p. He handed me a £20 and I gave him his change. He hesitates and said I should have given him £1.50 more. I print his receipt out and he just starts staring me down repeating you listen here, so I'll let him state exactly what the prices are so there's no confusion and confidently say I owe him £12. The amount owed back to him was £10.56. I try again to show him the receipt which clearly shows this, but he was having none of it and was getting more and more aggressive. That when my supervisor stepped in and asked if he'd like to be shown how it came to that number on a calculator. The customer shouts how we're all con artists and left. Thank you. Next. I work the front lines, register, part-time, in one of the only large stores still open in my area. People are usually pretty good, respectful of everyone. Then, you get the people who fill the cart to the brim because we are running low on most things and if they don't grab it, they won't be able to. This couple, kids in tow, are paranoid. They do not let the kids touch anything. Things are slowing down with them and I see them sorting the cart. It doesn't bother me because I'm starting to scan. Then, they come up and say they don't want this, waving a garbage can at me. I said, okay, I can take it back. He then walks to the corner and puts it on a nearly full cart. I ask what he's doing and he says that those are the go backs. A full cart. Then, as I'm scanning, they start changing their minds on certain items, asking me to remove some, put others on. In the end, a lot of time is wasted because we have to sort out what has to be reshelved and what has to be thrown away. People like them don't think about the fact that refrigerated foods that have been wandering around the store are no longer sellable. In a time like this, when everyone panics and there are shortages of basic necessities, don't be that jerk. Actually know how much money you have and keep track of what you are spending. Don't just grab everything to make sure you can get it. After all, we have to touch everything you just touched. Edit. Thank you so much everyone for your kind words and the silver. I've never gotten internet silver before. Just stay safe and healthy.